Now, why this gift? There isn't, to my knowledge, a professor of children's spirituality and nurture anywhere in the world. And that seems to be a great gap in the preparation of theological students to do something as leaders in congregations where we know that Jesus has said that if you really want to enter the kingdom, you need to become like a child. Now, that's a summons, like a summons from a court. That's not an invitation. That is quite different. It is if you want to enter the kingdom, then it's an if-then statement, then you need to be like a child. Well, that just doesn't get very much coverage in sermons and people's concerns and in budgets of parishes. And it, to my way of thinking, there are really two reasons why this gap, this omission, this blindness needs to be remedied. One is that if you want to enter the kingdom, you need to become like a child. That's kind of the theological part. The other part is that we just overlook children in congregations and really don't make them part of the congregation in an appropriate way. And so we need someone in a theological seminary who studies that, has experience in parishes that they've felt this gap, this strange kind of blindness, and they can teach about this from their experience and from their academic training and research. And on a seminary faculty, there needs to be someone who advocates for children. But in the 1830s, my great-great-grandfather rode out from St. Louis on his big horse. We have his, in the Kansas Historical Society, we have his autobiography. And he talks a lot about his horse, who was a great swimmer. And he rode out in the 1830s to the edge of the United States, to the what we now call Arkansas, and had a circuit. He was a Methodist circuit rider. He was still a very young man, and he he had a circuit along the Red River, and across the Red River was the Republic of Texas. It wasn't a part of the United States yet, and he had a circuit there, and then he became a missionary to the Indians in the northeastern part of Kansas, and then to the Shawnee. Helped to build Shawnee Mission, which is part of Kansas City now, and it's still there. We actually visited there, and then he moved back to Missouri and started a school. And so he was really an educator, and one of his sons, Gerard Quisenberry, graduated from this school that he started and went to medical school in Cincinnati. And then after G.Q. Berryman, the family became mostly bankers, and then were able to, over the generations, to provide the money to make this gift.
I just love how it connects through the generations of your own family, because so much of nurturing the children's spirituality is nurturing their relationships with the multiple generations. I mean,
right.
And the mutual learning that happens from intergenerational relationships.
I have great hope for the children of the church through this gift from the Berryman family, not just me, but Thea and Colleen and Elida and me, and then the generations before me. all the way back. The old guy who rode out from St. Louis on his big horse in the 1830s, his name was Jerome too. Another Reverend Jerome Berryman. And so it's really, the idea of it being the Berryman family is really very important to me. But it also, as you say, symbolizes the intergenerational part of any kind of ministry with children and families. I'd like for children's spirituality to be better understood. I'd like for I'd like for it to be better understood how to nurture that and how to speak Christian in a way that children can learn the art of how to make existential meaning with that great language that we've inherited. And I'd like for students in theological seminaries to encounter children in the same way that, and this is not, a gift is a gift. When you give a gift to someone, you give it, you open your hands, there aren't strings. And this sounds like I'm proposing some strings to the gift, but I'm not. But I would like to suggest that it would be a wonderful thing, and I've proposed this and tried to make this happen for maybe 30 or 40 years in different seminaries, that seminarians rotate through an environment where they work with children.
I love that so much.
Yeah, but in the same way that you need to do a clinical pastoral care term or some, but that needs to be part of the experience of a leader for a parish, is that you not only know how to find your way around a hospital and how to meet with people that have tremendous needs that you may not have run into otherwise in your own life. So you need to have these clinical experiences. And I'm proposing that one of the clinical experiences is to come close to children in a constructive way. I've seen this happen in seminaries where they haven't prepared the seminarians. The experience has not been of a particular kind where the children feel safe and the seminarians feel safe, and they both, the children and the seminarians, know kind of what to do and what to expect. They just kind of, I don't mean you just throw them together, because that's dangerous and destructive to the seminarians and to the children. But some kind of well thought out clinical experience so that you can know children, so that you can understand what it means to become like a child, so that you can show people, not just talk about it, but show people how to enter the kingdom. You were talking about parishes where there are multiple staff. Mm-hmm. And I'm also thinking about parishes where there's only one priest, and that priest has got to navigate that complex system of relationships you were talking about. And sometimes without any training or awareness of children, maybe even awareness because they're not married yet, they don't even have children in their own family. And so it's a setup. It's not fair. Those people don't have a chance. Those parishes don't have a chance to include children in their experience so that they can enter the kingdom of heaven. One of the things that this gift can do is provide a place for the students to have at least one class, and then hopefully more, but to to go back into their own memories of their own childhood and experience again in a different way how important and foundational some of those significant memories are. Because what I propose to you is that those memories that you have them because they were significant, and they're significant because they were moments when you discovered what your deep identity really is in relationship to God. Now, there's no word, I mean, you may not have a word that's called God, but you do have those experiences, and they're blended with the other experiences that you're having, like everything else. But that is the basis. And then the art of teaching this language about how to tease out what that particular kind of knowledge is and what that experience is and how it changes and grows and grows and grows. That's the critical moment. And all that takes place in early, middle, and late childhood. If what I'd really like to see is that the children in the church entering adolescence with an already inner working model of the Christian language system. It would be really, really fun to have the group gather, because you'll have in the same room people talking, but they know they know and can maintain a particular perspective. You'll have the child person, you'll have the youth person, you'll have the adult person, and they'll know each other, and so they'll know each other's fields somewhat, and all three of them can advocate for that. So you get a better balance for lifelong learning. You get a real balance for lifelong learning that is hard to get otherwise.
That seems so important, and especially if we want the children in our churches to be valued, to have those people all together at the table for future church leaders to have that diversity of coursework.
Right. Just to have the perspective as one of your perspectives as a future leader, that's very helpful. The other thing that's really helpful that just hasn't been explored is we spend so much money and time on evangelism. And by evangelism, we usually mean getting other adults to come to church. And that means you kind of got to help them get caught up on all the drop stitches in the sweater they're wearing now that they missed out on when they were children. And one of the very practical things is that if just half of the children that we have in parishes now find something there that is really rich, important, and wonderful for them, and they come back to church, we have this evangelism thing really going. What if 80% of them came back with their families? We'd really have something. And I talk about this all the time, and people say, yeah, that's really true. And then they go ahead and budget something for adult evangelism, instead of budgeting something for the richness and beauty of what the children could be experiencing in the rooms where they go to, where they're supposedly learning the art of how to speak the Christian language in a way that they can use it to make meaning about life and death right then, so they know how that works, so that when they become youth and adults and continue to develop, that will continue to develop. What if we could ground the whole parish experience in something like that? We'd really have something, and we would not just have, this is what's the phrase, a child parish, or a parish that's open to children, or a child-friendly parish, or something like that. No. then we would really have a parish that is rooted in the foundation of what Jesus said we must be like to enter the kingdom.